precautions during COVID. Now, if patient is already COVID positive, these measures, many of patients know, doctors, they guide them just every now and then as a preventive guidance. So isolation is must. Monitoring oxygen temperature and maintenance of chart of vitals is also equally important to detect some early complications that are taking place. Ventilation is must. Proning position, they must lie on abdomen, COVID positive. What as a doctor we know is important. Rest of the things everyone knows. Blood work should be done regularly. When we must ask our patient to do blood work, blood reports as early as possible. Similarly, and our patient should go for HRCT. See, they themselves will not do all these reports done. We have to guide our patients that this is the time you should go for. Unnecessary, you should not ask each and every patient to go for HRCT because the radiation itself has its own complications. One scan, it is said that one HRCT is equivalent to 100 X-rays. So please do not suggest each and every patient for that. You should know when you must ask your patient to go for. This is another important point. Minimum once a day, you must do teleconsultation with your patient. See, as such, your patient is isolated. He is away from his family members. No one is accompanying him. And when you are talking with your patient is already in the agony. Patient doesn't know which symptoms are important. What I have to tell to the doctor. He is already anxious. So which qualitative symptoms you want for homeopathic treatment, homeopathic management, that you must ask from the patient. Minimum once. Teleconsultation you have to do, and this is very important. As a doctor, we must know these protocols. Diet, patient must take nutritious diet, and very important again for us is controlling comorbid condition, because viral infection itself will make this comorbid condition more worse. This is regarding COVID. Now, post-COVID precautions. Usually, disappearance of symptoms. COVID is over, I am fine, I am healthy. No, again a big mistake. Disappearance of the symptom does not mean body has completely recovered. So here we have to continue monitoring the oxygen, temperature, at least for 1 week post-recovery. Why? Because by doing that, we can definitely detect if there is some complication or if there is some fall of oxygen or there is some secondary complications are developing, we will definitely understand that. Second thing, those patients who are already having comorbid condition, because and in those who are hospitalized, in them this antiviral medicines were used, steroids were used, blood thinners were used, so they may also have complications due to them. So that also we have to take care of, that something may not turn unfavorable. Oxygen temperature, as I told you, to catch post-COVID lung complication. It could be fibrosis, it could be hypoxia, it could be exertional dyspnea. Even many a times patients do develop psychological dyspnea. So in that patient feels breathless, but when they measure their oxygen level and rest of the thing, if you auscultate the chest, it is absolutely normal. It is only because of the psyche. Rehabilitation and chest physiotherapy, again to increase the lung capacity. Diet is important now because throughout the course of disease, patient has lost weight, and with that patient must have lost muscle mass. That stamina to regain, that strength to regain, that tone to regain, your patient must add protein in his diet, which is very important. With regular diet, he has to increase the protein intake. Proper rest and gradual exercise for building in general stamina. And very important is practicing mental hygiene. You have to counsel your patient, because when they are recovering, they come out, they are just out of psychological trauma. Many patients, they have this fear of secondary complications. They have again fear of rehospitalization. They do develop, as I've told you, psychological dyspnea. So we have to take care of all this. We have to ask, we have to guide our patients for all these post-COVID things. Now, actually, when a patient's coming to us, this is the precautions and everything is okay. Now, actually, what we should do when patients are coming to us, usually, as I told you in the initial stage, when the patient is COVID positive, they do not come with the severity. Majority of the patients will either come with mild to moderate variety. Screening of the patient is must. When patient comes to us, screening of the symptom is must. Suppose a patient is only suspected with exposure. Patient may have traveled somewhere else. Patient has attended some event where there was a crowd. There was only suspicion, but there was no symptom. Patient has no symptom of COVID, but there is a doubt that I might have got the infection. Isolate the patient, monitor the patient, and patient has to undergo rapid antigen, that is rat test and RT-PCR. Now here again, I would like to tell my experience. Many patients, they have this fear in their mind. If I go for test, it will come positive. So majority of the patients, they come and they say, sir, please start the medicines. Please start the treatment. I don't want to go for the test. Jovially, many patients do say, how, sir, do you know how one becomes positive, COVID positive? I say, no, tell me how one becomes COVID positive. He says, you go for the test and you will become positive. So this is what is in the mind of our patients. We have to guide them. This is for the early detection. If you are detected early, your treatment will start early and you can be better within no time. You will be relieved of all the problems within no time. So this is must. Now, it is not only the doubt, but your patient is definitely showing the symptoms of COVID. All common symptoms of flu, headache, lethargy, coryza, fever, stomach upset, diarrhea, etc. Very important. With rapid antigen test, RT-PCR, go for blood report as early as possible, because you all must be knowing in between there was a time where RT-PCR used to come, the result of RT-PCR used to come after 3-4 days. You can't wait in this rapid progressive disease. You have to have other measures, other parameters to judge the severity, to see the status of the pathology. So first and foremost, the moment you see patient with mild symptom or any symptom, please go for blood report. Those patients who are having moderate variety of symptoms, complete blood profile. Complete blood profile means everything, at least once you should ask your patient to go for. That will include CBC, CRP, D-dimer, SGPT, serum ferritin, serum creatinine, LDH, IL-6, random blood sugar. And if your patient is complaining of severe myalgia, severe body pain, and if your patient is a known patient of ischemic heart disease, cardiac complication, go for CPK, even CPK-MB and troponin. Early detection of these markers, these enzymes will definitely give you the idea about the prognosis, future prognosis, how your patient is going to be in future. Similarly, with high CRP, if your LDH, IL-6, serum ferritin, if these levels are high, definitely it is an indication of cytokinin crisis. You have to be more vigilant. You have to be, you have to monitor more closely to such cases, whether with comorbidity or not. But in the initial, if these markers are high in blood report, you have to be on your toes. You have to be very, very alert. Followed by HRCT and chest, HRCT chest. So here you can decide depending upon the severity, when to go for blood report, when to go for blood report. Means in mild cases, you can wait, you can go for blood report every 3rd day, 5th day, even 7th day. But in moderate cases or with comorbidity, you must ask for the blood reports very frequently, whether to see whether your case is going in progressive or regressive way. And HRCT is also advised, especially in moderate to severe cases, mainly those cases either with comorbidity, having high fever for more than 3 to 4 days, or who will develop cough in the initial period of time. So this is very important. This screening will definitely save or filter many cases before they go to severe variety. So this is our prime duty, our prime goal. This is another important thing. First day of the onset of the symptom has to be marked. I'm just taking to the previous page. Okay, this last point is very important. Our patients might not be knowing this, so they don't give importance to this, but we have to teach them. Mark your first day of the onset of symptom. It should be marked as a milestone in the progress of disease. Why? Because by knowing that only you will come to know about the criteria or about the investigation, about the prognosis, about the monitoring, and how the treatment is going on. After this many days, if your patient is fine, or within this many days your patient has developed severe symptoms or cough or high-grade fever lasting for more than 7 to 10 days, definitely it is not a welcoming sign. So first day of the onset of symptom has to be given importance, and it has to be keep in mind, very important. For moderate to severe case, as I already told, thorough blood report, there is no argument about this. You can judge only by the thorough blood reports about the state of the patient. What kind of cases which are requiring close monitoring? Naturally, high-grade fever with cough, those who are elderly patients, those who are having comorbid conditions like diabetes, chronic kidney disease, those who are immunocompromised patients, immunosuppressants which are used in the patients, those who have done transplant, even cardiac patient, this we have to keep it in, even cancer patient, these patients we have to keep it in the category of that kind of patients who will require close monitoring. Why? Again, close monitoring about oxygen and temperature with other vitals is must to detect early detection of epihypoxia. Epihypoxia is a state where patient's oxygen level is deteriorated, but patient does not feel any breathlessness. There is no dyspnea, though oxygen level is down. So to detect that very early and to take steps accordingly, we have to do this close monitoring. This is what I just said, record temperature and oxygen every 3 hourly, other vitals 4 times, just to see how your case is progressing. Isolation is compulsory, that we all know. Patient should be kept in well-ventilated room. His windows and doors should be kept open. Even if AC is on, there has to be a circulation of fresh air. Yes, this is another important thing. Many patients ask us, sir, what to do about my children? If one person is positive, should we, to save our children, should we send them to our relative's place? No. See, if anyone is positive in the family, means your child is definitely exposed to the person. Child is definitely exposed to the virus. And if child has not shown any symptoms, just simply monitor. There is nothing to worry. But if you are sending your child to somewhere else, to your relative's place, you are making that family a potential risk, because your child can be an asymptomatic carrier. So please, there is no need. And again, apart from that, if you are sending your child if you are sending your child apart, it will also cause emotional stress on your child. So no need to do that. This we have to guide to our patients, because these are all small things where clarity has to be there. So you have to guide them.